Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic which is very close to my heart. It's about logo design. How to build a world-class logo design for a small business. A small business need not look small by the mere appearance of that being a small. What I would say is it can look equally big and impressive by the mere look of the logo. When a small business logo comes next to a big business logo, I don't think the small business should lose because of the appearance of the logo. That is very much possible. That's what I'm going to take you through in this class, more particularly how to create a world-class logo for your brand. Now let us begin with this. A man without a face is same as a business without a logo. There are a lot of small businesses which are doing fantastically well, which have created they have created their own name in the market. They've been in the business for years together. They have a very good legacy. But what they have done is they have not created a logo for themselves, or they have not created a logo that is remarkably distinct and unique. So because of that, what happens is if customers want to come back to them and want to relate to them, want to have a visual representation of what it all stands for, they don't have that, which the big brands have an advantage of. So let us understand what goes into making this logo. I'm going to talk to you about a test called 3C logo test. This is a test. If you put your logo under this test, then you will be able to know basically how the logo performs. Basically, if there is a problem with the logo, in which part of the logo you have a problem and what you got to do about correcting it. So even if I twist the sentence, then it makes even more sense. Business without a logo is same as a man without a face, and you cannot recognize your business without a logo. People cannot recognize business without a logo, like how they cannot recognize a human being without a face. So as simple as that. Logo is the face of your business. Keep this thing very clear in your mind. It is the face of your business. We as human beings, we don't have the privilege of changing our face. Maybe if we have to do, then we may have to undergo some cosmetic surgery to do something which we don't know if it would be the right thing to do. But we can do everything in our control that we have to craft a logo, a logo for our business that truly stands to its merit, that truly represents our business and our value system. And that's where it is very essential to put some efforts into creating a logo. Looking big looking like big brands is not that difficult if we can really understand the science that guides them. So once again, coming back to the simple definition of logo, a logo is a visual representation of your business. Simply put, it is the face of your business. So don't forget, this is the guiding principle that we're going to have. This is the formula I was talking to you about. 3C logo design formula. What is this 3C? Clarity, consistency, and connect. Just got to make sure if your logo has these three elements. To make it even more easier, I'm going to take you through one example. Let us take the example of Airtel logo. Airtel has this new logo, which we are seeing today. Airtel earlier had this old logo, which many of you would even remember. So the difference between the new logo and the old logo, if you can understand, it is basically the old logo has got, technically three colors, maybe white, red, and then black. All together, white on, then you have a black color, then on white, and then, you have this white on red, and it has got too many things into it. And then you have a small band on the left. There are too many things happening inside the logo. And then when you take a look at this new logo of Airtel, it is very clean, very neat. Technically, you can say it is two colors, white on, it's not white on red or red on white, in any way they use it. When you look at these two logos, which is the one that takes lesser mind space to really, get to a conclusion that this is Airtel logo? It is the one on the right. The one on the right very clearly does not take much of your mind space to communicate what the brand is all about. First, it is in small case. Psychologically, it is proven that capital cases take a lot of your mind space to really process the information. A small case does not take that much time, and it is very easy and friendly. And they have a font which is very bold, which is very clean, and then they have very, very minimal usage of color. Very minimal usage of color. That takes very little effort to process the information. Yes, this is Airtel brand. Because only with red you cannot differentiate, because there are several other brands with the same color, in the same market space that Airtel is in. So similarly, if you say this, take the example of the old logo, it takes too much time to a little bit of processing, even though it is not very difficult or a complicated logo, but still comparatively it takes little more time, and the one on the right takes very less time. So why do they do all these things? The idea of these brands is spend lots and lots of money. They spend millions and billions of dollars on advertising. And when you are just moving in a highway, and if you happen to see one of the hoardings of Airtel, and you just get 3 seconds or 4 seconds to just catch the information. Even if you don't catch the information, the least thing that the advertisers expect you to do is carry the brand name in your mind. That's it. And if the advertisement does not do that, or if the logo design that is there carried by these advertisements does not do the job of conveying the brand name, which is the least thing that it can do, then it fails miserably. So it's very important, whether it is a big brand or a small brand, communicating the brand name through your logo is the most essential part. And communicating it in the simplest way possible is the most important thing. And we are going to look at it now. The first thing that we spoke about, the first C is clarity. What is this clarity all about? As we just now spoke about, it is about making sure your logo is very easily readable. What do we mean by readable? We mean that, the name which appears as the brand name which appears in the logo has to be very easily readable. It has to be very clear without having complicated fonts or thin fonts or too disturbing fonts. It has to be readable from a distance very clearly well. The first C is clarity. So clarity ensures easy readability. Number 2 is consistency. Consistency means that when the logo appears, the logo does not appear just like that anywhere. It appears on some mediums. Say, for example, it appears on a t-shirt, or it appears on a letterhead, or it appears on your website. It appears in certain contexts, or in a business card or so. Whenever a logo appears in all these different formats, it should not lose its consistency. What do we mean by this consistency? A logo has certain elements. Say, it has font, it has got color, it has got certain composition. When this logo gets printed on a t-shirt, and if the logo is very complex, then it will lose its integrity. So the logo that appears on a t-shirt will be a little different. The one which appears on the signage, it will be a little different. The one which appears on your visiting card will be a little different. When it all becomes different versions of the same logo, then there is a very big loss to the brand, because people may consider that to be a different brand and this to be a different brand. It may happen. So make sure when you're building your brand, creating a logo, it is very, very easily reproducible in any medium that you have. Just for example, if you take the example of Airtel again, they have this logo on a box, on a t-shirt, in the inside branding, or in outdoor media. Everywhere the logo goes, without you having to struggle to understand that whether it is Airtel logo or not. Everywhere it is the same. How it is made very easy? Because they have the minimal usage of colors, they have the font which is very clear, and they have the composition of the logo which is easily reproducible. White on red or red on white, as simple as that. The third thing is connect. How does your brand connect with your audience? By revealing certain information about what it stands for. So connect ensures that you are relatable to something. What are you relatable to? Say, for example, in the case of Airtel, we have the symbol, which there are different variations and explanations of the symbol. Brand creators may have a lot more meaning that when they would have designed it, or the management of Airtel would have got a lot more meaning to it. Generally, there is an approach in logo designing that you create a logo which has got lots of layers in it, so that the logo becomes very strong, or very true to what the value system that they have in business, or there are certain personal inclinations or certain things that give you energy or some motivation, certain things basically which you want to embed in the form of a logo, which people generally may not know, but at least they make sure that the first layer of communication is clear for people to relate. So the first layer, if I can decipher this information and I just can present it to you, what I understand from this symbol is that it represents an ear, or the symbol, the letter A basically. So whenever you are building a brand, don't have a very complicated symbol that goes too much out of the way. Have a very simple symbol, very neat symbol, very catchy symbol that really relates to what you stand for, whether it is your value system or the product or the service that you offer. So stick on to that. That is very important. So the 3C logo design formula is this. You should have clarity that ensures readability, consistency so that the reproduction of the logo in any format is very simple and easy to do. So that, and one more very important thing with reproduction is that if supposing you have a very complicated logo, even to reproduce that logo properly, you'll have to incur a lot of cost. So if it is very simple to reproduce, then the cost may even come down. Connect is about relatability. How do you connect your audience with your brand? How do you connect your brand with your company? So everything is very much important there. Now let us understand that you know this formula. Now what you need to do is you need to put your logo under this 3C formula test that you have just now understood, and see whether your logo is lacking on clarity, whether your logo is lacking on consistency, or your logo is lacking on connect. If you are missing on any one of these 3 parameters, I would advise you to go back and check how you can correct it. And I'm going to reveal you certain elements in the logo that you can look at very keenly, and where required, wherever it is required, you can go back and correct it. And when we look at all these big brands, basically, one more very important thing that we have to understand is the kind of simplicity that they carry. If all these brands undergo the test, they will very easily pass and come out. So that is the very important aspect of this. So these are the 3 elements that I was talking to you about, basically. The first is symbol, second is font, third is the color. So let us dwell a little deep into these aspects of what these 3 things stand for. Let me take the example of Amazon, and let us try to decipher and understand what are the 3 components that get into Amazon. The first element that we see is a symbol. Symbol here with Amazon is this smiley symbol that they have, and it starts from A to Z, which they want to say that, you know, they have everything starting from A to Z. They have everything, all the products with them that they can offer, that they can ship to your address. So that is a very nice way of putting the symbol, very much integrated within the logo. It is not standing out somewhere separately. It is very much integrated well with it. So it has to be either connecting with your category or an ideology or your value system or something that you want to promise to your customers. So they want to say to the customers that I've got everything from A to Z, and we just deliver smiles. We just make you happy because we're delivering it without any efforts. You don't have to put so much effort, and we just got everything for you. Number 2 is font. The font, generally what I recommend is to have a very bold and easily readable font. So if you have a font which is very difficult to read, which is very thin, or which is a little absurd, it's not very clearly giving the feeling of, you know, easily digestible stuff, then follow this very simple formula of making your font bold and make it readable. Just do a small test yourself. You'll know how to arrive at a very simple way of, you know, making it very easily readable. If supposing you can, if you are looking at even, you know, going for a graphic designer and creating your own type, no issues. You can still give him a brief that, you know, to make a font which is very easily readable. I generally prefer going with small fonts, the small case fonts, because that is the most easily readable stuff basically which is out there. So I would recommend you to go for that. Yeah, the third thing that I would ask you to do is, when you choose colors, go for 1 or 2 colors max. Don't go for more than that. If your logo has got too many colors, then you will incur you will incur lot of money in really reproducing the logo very clearly well. So what happens is that, you know, if you have a logo which has got 3 or 4 colors, and when you go for a signage kind of reproduction or go for a screen printing, for each additional color that you have, you will have to incur extra money. So, and even when you incur that money, and in some places the results do not satisfy you, And if the output is not that great, and if it does not really come out the way how your brand actually has to look like, then it is all additional problem for you managing and, you know, spending a lot of money and all that. So when you have the simplest way to have is 1 or 2 colors, and that should really do the rest. So I would advise you to just put the logo under the 3C test and understand where you're lacking. And if you're lacking somewhere, you will have to know that these 3 are the things that your logo is made up of. And if there is a problem, then it has to be a problem only with these 3 things. And if you go back and correct on all these 3 things, wherever your logo is not meeting the standards, then you can really create a logo that truly deserves world attention. What I would suggest small business is that a small business does not have to look small by the mere look of it. Simply because I run a small business, it does not mean that, you know, I can compromise on my logo. That's not the way how it is. Even by running a small business, I can create an equally impressive logo. That thought has to go deep into the minds of small business owners, and they should never ever compromise in the way how their brand has to represent. We have seen several success stories of small businesses going very big. So I don't think we should ever compromise on the way how we represent our business. Being small business is a great pride. We run the economy. We should never compromise on how we look, and we should never think that we are smaller than the big giants, the way how we present ourselves. When a small business logo gets next to a big business logo, maybe in terms of resourcefulness, the big business is a big business. But when it comes to the design merit of, you know, presenting your business in the form of the right visual appeal and what you stand for next to a big brand, you should really not compromise and lose out on any parameter. I would advise you to follow these certain things that I have spoken to you about the 3C test and what are the elements that you've got to really correct it. If it all goes well, then you will have a very rockingly nice, well-built logo that will stand to its merit, and it will be of world class. Thank you very much for your time.